we went to break, asked you guys and the listeners to think about who had the best celebration in sports. And the reason where I got this from was, of course, the World Cup going on right now, the Women's World Cup. Alex Morgan last week scored a goal against England. And I ain't going to lie, it was one of the greatest celebrations I've ever seen. And
yeah, that was pretty cool.
England is very mad about it.
Yeah.
And people are very mad about it, but they can get over it. I mean, like it stop us, just saying.
Right, yeah.
But she started sipping the tea with the pinky out.
That was the best part.
That was awesome.
The pinky was the best part.
That's if somebody just goes like that, whatever, that's not
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
The
yeah.
pinky is what did it.
Yeah, it sold it.
Like, I was like, man, you know what? Congratulations, you made me want to watch on Sunday now the World Cup final.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it just because you just impressed me that much.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, Alex Morgan. Very, well played. Because that was great. That was awesome. That was different. Never seen that before. You always see these different kind of celebrations, especially in soccer. It's very animated. They were simple and funny.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked. And it was funny. Okay? So I started thinking, I was like, what kind of unique topic, some fun we can have with it right here. And it hit me. Who has the best celebration in sports? It could be a one-time celebration. It could be, somebody. It could be both. Give me like somebody that did something in a tense moment before.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that comes up. The Joey Bats, whatever you want to call it, Jose Batista with the bat flips type thing. So you could say that, but somebody who had like a signature celebration as well. If you could think of two of those, like one-time thing and also a signature, or just the one thing that you could think of. But Caleb, I'll start with you. Who is the best celebration or anything that had an iconic celebration from any of the sports? Doesn't have to be just one particular sport.
I'm gonna do both. I'm gonna do the one time, and I'm gonna do the I guess continuous celebration. The one time celebration that I think of was a Monday night football game between, I believe it was the Seahawks and the 49ers. And Terrell Owens scored a touchdown, took a Sharpie out of his sock, signed a football, and gave it to his agent. That was pretty awesome. He's got several one-timers.
Right. T.O.'s one of the best celebrations.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And the Dallas Star, where he ran all the way to the Dallas Star. Yeah.
Right.
Well, that was the second time he did it. The first time he did it, nobody bothered him.
Right.
And then he has one with the popcorn, where he was actually playing for the Cowboys and took the popcorn and threw it into his mask or into his helmet. And then, what was the other one he did? I'm losing my thought. Anyway, I have a couple of ones that are pretty consistent. One of them's underrated. LaDainian Tomlinson.
Oh yeah.
His touchdown celebration. We saw it was at 28 times the year he broke the record. He would go in and he would just very calmly flip the ball with his right or left hand, and he kind of took the other arm and put it behind his head and flipped the ball. And it was just, I don't know, just something about that. It was just
cool.
Kind of smooth.
It was really cool. Yeah.
And plus he got to do it a whole lot. So it was pretty cool to see that. And then one from a world perspective, Ronaldo has a pretty awesome celebration when he scores a goal. Cristiano Ronaldo.
No idea what it is. You're going to have to explain.
Okay, so it's going to sound ridiculous when I explain it. But anyway, he's like the best soccer player in the world. Number one or two. You can argue Messi or him. Anyway, he when he scores a goal, most of the times it's pretty fantastic when he does. And he does it on a consistent basis. And he runs to, I believe it's either the left side or the right side of the field, and he jumps up in the air, and while he's in the air, he turns back to his teammates, because in soccer, you run to the corner and then your teammates follow you.
Right.
And he jumps up in the air, which is pretty high because he's pretty athletic, and he turns in midair, and when he comes down, he takes his arm, and it's almost like he's, I don't know, it's like he's throwing a cape behind him or something.
Okay.
And he takes his arms and he flails them down as he lands on the ground, and I did that while I was talking. And then his teammates come around him, and it's just a really neat celebration. It's one of my favorites. When I play FIFA, that's the one celebration I want to do is the Ronaldo celebration.
You can actually select it.
Yeah. There's like a little button you can.
I haven't played FIFA in years.
Yeah. Well, you used to. I haven't played it in a while either. But when I did, it was you could do the Ronaldo celebration, where you jump up in the air and throw your hands down. So those are mine. A lot of TO and a lot of LT, and then obviously Ronaldo.
All right. So, Josh, who's got the best celebration that you could think of?
Well, I got a sleeper here that nobody
Okay.
probably thinks about, but Tim Dwight, known mainly as a punt returner from Iowa Hawkeyes and played with the Atlanta Falcons for a few years, scored and then popped the top off the football and proceeded to drink it.
Right.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool and original. But to me, the best was Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
Where he would be getting a pick or returning a punt, and then he'd put his hand behind his head and do the Deion dance, and then and he also had the shuffle for. So for me, it was Deion Sanders. When he'd put that hand behind his head and just start, high stepping his way right into the end zone.
Oh,
Josh was also doing that while he was talking.
Yeah.
Just
I
let
can't-
everybody know.
No, I do it.
Let's be honest. When these guys are doing these celebrations, you're up watching the game,
Right.
doing it with them. All right.
Right,
Don't lie.
yeah.
And I remember we had a kid on our team did it in the little league. He scored a touchdown as the game was expiring. We were up like 14-0, and he was doing the Deion Sanders high step into the end zone. But I thought the Christian Wilkins Hunter Renfrow paper rock scissors was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But those are just some that come to mind. Of course, Chad Johnson always had some good stuff. Or Chad Ochocinco with the putt.
No, that was
Tiger
funny,
Woods
yeah.
putt was great. And then the one off, I thought that was probably the most you got schooled moment was the Sean Kemp dunk. We were talking about that in the break where he dunked over the guy, and that evidently that guy. The backstory, that guy was talking a lot of trash, and he gave him the 2-finger points after dunking all over him. But those are mine. But to me, the best celebrator was Deion Sanders. He kind of set the trend for the guys that do it now, and the guys that got fined in the early 2000s.
Yeah. All right. So right off the bat, I think, and I know becoming a golf game, a big golf fan in the last year, but the Tiger fist bump. I mean,
Yeah.
do you know anything more epic than that when that man hits like a big shot or a big putt
Yeah.
and that fist pump comes out? You're done. Like,
Yeah.
if you're another golfer watching that, you might as well just go home because it's over.
Right.
You know
He's
that-
got one in the, I think it's I'm not sure what I think it's the U.S. Open, where he follows the ball into the pin. Do y'all remember that? Where he follows the ball and he's like,
He points at it.
he does the fist bump. Yeah, that was pretty.
I
that was
mean,
great.
it's when Tiger gets that fist pump and he's rolling,
Yeah.
can't do anything. And
Right.
you get fired up when he has that fist pump there, and it's just awesome to see. So Tiger's one that comes to mind, but of course, Sammy Sosa's home run when he did that little hop, you knew it was gone.
Yeah.
That was always cool to see, and the next two I'm going to say is because you can see players do it today, even without realizing they do it, but it's because people have watched those guys over the years. So, I see there's several players in the major league. If you see them hit a home run, Luke Voigt's one, has a Sammy Sosa hop, and then of course when Ken Griffey Jr. hit a home run,
Oh.
and they had
Oh, yeah, it
that
looked awesome.
beautiful swing and that
Yeah.
little drop of the bat,
And, like,
oh,
take
my
3
goodness.
steps and then
It's
yeah.
so smooth. It's so pretty, man. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. So things, and I still see some players try to mimic that even today because
Right.
that's what everybody grew up watching and wanting to
Yeah.
do. You had those. If I hit one, I have a little bit of a hop as well because I
Right.
thought it was the coolest thing to see Sammy Sosa do it. So
Yeah.
it's those are some iconic ones, and the best celebrators are like we said, T.O. Chad Johnson was very creative as well.
I like when LeBron was in Miami and he did the 2-tap to the chest.
Yeah,
And
everybody
then,
did that a little bit for a few years. Going way back in it, and I know Coach Steelman that joins us a lot on Bump and Run would be very happy with me because it's his boy, Vince Carter.
Oh yeah.
Back in his net days when he would do something insane and then start revving up.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? He'd start
yeah.
revving up. I would do that as a kid. I wasn't even a net fan. I'd be like, oh, yeah, cool. So, when the Knicks were good for that 1 year with Carmelo Anthony with the three symbol,
yeah.
things like that.
James Harden.
Yeah, the cook, or the chef, and stirring it up and all that.
There's a
Who
lot
else?
of good ones.
Steve Smith has some good ones too.
Yeah.
He went to the end zone one time and proceeded to row a boat.
Yeah,
I'll tell you,
that was cool.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
this: if my mom had a say in it, it was hands down the Dirty Bird.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Dirty
the
Bird
Dirty
was
Bird,
great.
yeah.
A lot of people don't. I lived in Georgia for a year. I was 4 years old. I lived in Georgia for about a year, and that's what they had on TV, obviously, with the Falcon game. So my mom actually likes the Falcons. That's her other team, but she loved the Dirty Bird, and she still will celebrate a jet touchdown with it. I don't quite understand that, but she'll
Right.
do it. Or if she gets fantasy points,
Yeah.
Actually, my mom's fantasy points dance is probably the greatest celebration that nobody ever sees.
Nobody wants.
No, nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that.
It's a story for off the air.
The Mile High Salute back then.
Huh? Yeah.
That was pretty simple.
Who has the worst?
The worst
Yeah,
celebration.
like one that you see and you're like, no, dude, just sit down.
I don't know. Some of those defensive guys, when they score on a pick six, like a linebacker, and they slam the ball and it hits like a photographer.
I know what Joe Buck would say. The Randy Moss mooning the Lambo.
Yeah,
the
but there was an inside joke to that.
That was funny. I don't
That
care.
was funny. The Packers fans would always moon the opposing teams as they came and left. So
Who, was it Gus Farrat that ran straight
Ran
into the
into- yeah.
wall
Yeah,
with his
he
head and
started-
gave himself a concussion? That's the
Yeah.
worst one. That's as
That
bad
cost
as it
him
gets.
that
Which,
game,
shout out to
actually.
Tyler. He was a Redskin. So
Yeah.
when
yeah.
he did that,
Yeah. That's as bad as it gets. Just
yeah.
gone.
I didn't really. I wasn't a big fan of the Gronk spike either.
It was boring.
It's kind of.
It was just a powerful spike. That's all
I
it
did
was.
like the robot where he walked like a robot and then he spiked it. That was pretty good.
But
The Jimmy
Don't-
Graham dunks were pretty cool too.
I ain't gonna lie. The one that you mentioned, LT's flip,
That's pretty sweet.
that was legit. Especially the few years that he was jetting doing it. Oh
Yeah.
man. Oh man, I
Telling
love
you.
to see it. But
And then
yeah.
the area that I think we're missing is wrestling, and wrestling
Oh,
celebrations in WWE. Like when Stone Cold would win a match, and they just toss beers to him and
Yeah.
he'd shotgun him like on the on
Rock
the top
had
rope.
The
the
brow.
eyebrow thing.
Yeah.
The Hardy Boys would do something weird and flip, or whatever.
How's my
Hulk
eyebrows?
Hogan,
My
with
eyebrow
the,
pretty
Hulk
good.
Hogan with the ear.
Yeah.
Listen to
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Who else had one? Yeah, wrestling's got some good ones. in
Wrestling's
there
got
as
some
well.
good ones. We forgot about that.
Yeah.
The
That's true.
Undertaker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
just
kind of like
roll
raised
his
their
eyes.
hand or something. When Kane came out and raised his hand and then slammed it down, the fire would shoot up
Yeah,
from the
yeah.
turnbuckles. That was pretty cool.
Goldberg would go through fireworks.
Yeah.
That was pretty sweet.
Hey, fun fact, by the way.
He played for the Jets.
No, he was the first player ever cut by the Panthers.
Really?
Yeah, Goldberg. First player ever
Huh.
cut by the Panthers back in 1995.
Wow.
Nice.
Yep. And then became a wrestler. The rest became history.
Right.
Good for him.
Yeah. All right, we got to jump to a break. We got to wrap up this discussion. We'll come back. We'll wrap up hour number 2. We got to honor the great one. Josh, you know where I'm going with it.
Bring it.
I'm very sad. It is sad in all seriousness, but he's a legend to us. We talked about him a lot on the show. We'll share what we're talking about on the other side coming up next here on the Saturday Sports Report.
Frank's for the Memories is a great hot dog place for lunch. Why Frank's for the Memories? Because hot dog.